Hi, welcome back to An Organized Mind. I'm your host, Linda Clevenger, today with Connie Whittingham from Y-OPA, your own professional advisor. Great. Okay. So we're talking about QuickBooks and how you can organize your QuickBooks, because I don't know about you, but I'm an organizer. I don't like to do that. But the tip number 3 that Connie has for us is to color code your accounts and register. So, and if you like color coding is something that people really can get into, right?
Yeah.
And what I love probably about QuickBooks is when you're filing in color coding, you have to have those red files and green files. And what if you run out, right? That can stop you in your tracks from doing anything. It's like, I can't do anything else because I don't have any more green folders. Not with QuickBooks, right?
Well, no, not with QuickBooks.
Okay.
So here's how it works. Now, the first part of this is actually done outside of QuickBooks. Most people have one bank account, and they run all of their transactions through there. Well, what I like to recommend, first of all, is having multiple bank accounts at your bank. Okay, we're talking about setting up different bank accounts at your bank for different purposes. For example, for operations, all your typical transactions can go through just an operational bank account, one for payroll. Sometimes people have one for business development. So that's the first thing you do.
Oh, really? Okay. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that will make it easier. We'll talk about why that's going to make it easier later. All right. Okay. So that's your first step. Then when it's time to order your checks, order them for each account in a different color. Okay. So that's step 2.
Okay. That I understand right off the bat.
Okay. Step 3, you take that to QuickBooks. In QuickBooks, you can actually edit the color of any register, any account, and you want to do that so that it corresponds to the bank account. So if you order green checks for your payroll account, then in QuickBooks, you're going to go in and you're going to edit the colors so that it matches and that it's green as well. And you do that for each account. What's great about that is because I don't know about you, but I've once or twice posted a check to a wrong account. Well, if the checks are color coded to match what's in the account, it's what's in QuickBooks, it's less likely that will happen.
Yeah, it makes it, and don't take this wrong, but it kind of makes it dummy proof.
Yeah.
Green goes with green, blue goes with blue. You wouldn't put,
That's right. And when business owners are super busy, it's really about organizing it so that you don't have to think about it as much.
And I would think, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I would think too, if you're training someone, if you're bringing on a new employee, that can be an easy transition to get them to into that new position. It makes it easy. It's less for them to remember.
That's right. Absolutely. And especially for us, we're doing books for so many different clients, and we have to make sure that we're, using each account the way that we're supposed to. So we color code all of the accounts.
Great. So what else do you have?
Well, because when you do this, especially just having separate bank accounts like we talked about, the beauty of that is when it's time to reconcile, that scary thing that makes everyone nervous. Well, it's really much easier to reconcile 3 separate accounts than it is one big daunting account with all your transactions flowing through it. It's easier to find the mistakes and it's easier to balance.
That makes sense. You're keeping it simplified.
That's right.
Keeping it, because one account may only have a few transactions that flows through it, right?
Absolutely, like payroll. You really don't have a ton of things happening in payroll, but you've got taxes flowing in and out of it, and so it's so much easier if those things are kept separate.
That makes sense. Any other advice for color coding your accounts and registers?
No, not really. That's just about it. Just be consistent, just structure it. Think about how you want to set it up first before you order those checks because they can be expensive. But there are banks that actually have free checking, so this doesn't have to be something that's going to cost a lot of money.
Great. Well, thanks. Great tips on color coding. And stay tuned because our next tip is to customize, memorize, and group reports. Ooh, can't wait to hear about that. That was a mouthful just to say it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.